If you've clicked on this video, it means that you want a watch that looks expensive but won't break the bank. Well, don't worry, you're in the right place. I have searched far and wide to bring you 10 watches that look expensive but actually aren't. And these really are some incredible watches. But first, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a video. Okay, the first watch on today's list features an absolutely beautiful dial and an automatic movement, but costs less than $100. If you want to get the cheapest mechanical watch from a Japanese watchmaker, this is it. The Citizen NH8350 is a bit of a hidden gem amongst the Citizen catalogue. This watch features an incredible level of detail on the dial that has no right being on a sub $100 watch. The waffle style pattern combines with the sunburst finish to allow this budget dial to play with the light better than watches costing substantially more, pulling off a minimal yet detailed aesthetic which is rare to see on a budget watch. Even the printed Roman numerals are raised to give them that extra punch when peering through the glass. The case is very basic, and so is the movement too, but the Miyota 8200 inside of the Citizen will surely last for years to come, and will satisfy the mechanical enthusiasts. With a high quality leather strap, this Citizen without question looks way more expensive than its sub $100 price tag. Okay, if you want something that's sporty but still looks expensive, then this next watch might be for you. Don't be thinking that you need to spend a lot of money to get an expensive looking sports watch, because Casio has you covered. This is the Casio Edifice Sapphire, a watch that features a nod to the Royal Oak with its screwed flat bezel, which in itself looks like an expensive feature, but the rest of the watch does not disappoint. We see the use of a vertically brushed textured dial, which will glisten beautifully in the light, and the bezel also features a vertically brushed finish, giving the bezel and dial a coherent flow. The usual problem with a Casio is the build quality, but this watch comes with a sapphire crystal and 100 meters of water resistance, making it a true sports watch ready for action. Pair this watch up with a blue rubber strap, matching that striking blue seconds hand, and you without question have that expensive sports watch look for under $100. Now, if you're looking for something that's completely different to what everybody else wants, then this British micro brand has you covered. Fancy a beautiful, affordable watch that you'll rarely see on somebody else's wrist? Then feast your eyes on the Senate. This is a watch by British micro brand Beaucroft. Now, Beaucroft specialises in creating these stunning dress watches, all featuring a beautifully minimal dial that packs a punch with the details. The expensive look here comes from the perfect selection of colours, opting to use a classy yet striking palette that catches the eye, with the applied hour markers giving the watch a hint of flash. The beauty doesn't come with a compromise, however, because inside the Senate we see the use of a high beat Miyota 9000 series movement and a sapphire glass, which makes the $400 price tag even better. Beaucroft recently announced their bespoke service, where they will create a piece unique, designed with the exact details that you want just for you. So although this is only a young British micro brand, they are creating some beautiful, expensive looking timepieces. Now, this next pick was by far the easiest to include on today's video, and with so much choice amongst the catalogue, you can really find one that suits your style. One of the best watches when it comes to looking expensive is for sure the Seiko Cocktail Time range. This range features some of the best dial work you'll find around, with some even comparing them to the likes of Grand Seiko, which is a tad dramatic, but it's easy to see how they've come to that conclusion. Now, I really don't think you can go wrong with any of the Cocktail Time models. They are all absolutely stunning, but for me, the SRPD 37 oozes class with its deep green dial. My favourite detail on this watch is that seconds hand, with a gold finish which always pairs up so effortlessly with green dials. But have a look through the Cocktail Time catalogue. It's hard just to pick out one specific model when they're all just so beautiful, and with those deep textured dials, the Seiko Cocktail Time range rivals watches that cost much more. Okay, if you've had enough of the dress watches and you want something that's tough and ready, then it doesn't get much better than this next watch. Usually, a steel G-Shock would cost upwards of a couple $100, but there are a couple that you can get that come in much closer to that $100 price tag. This model is the GMS 5600, a watch that I recently added to my personal collection. Now, this G-Shock features the classic squared case design, however it has a very special feature. This model comes in with a staggering 38mm case diameter and an 11mm thickness, which makes it one of the smallest fully capable G-Shocks on the market. But somehow Casio has managed to maintain maintain the 20 bar water resistance rating and great shock resistant capabilities, packing it all inside a fully polished steel shell, giving a super tough and rugged watch a flashy, expensive look. But if you don't have a small wrist or enjoy something larger, then the GM 5600 is pretty much identical but comes with a bigger case, and both sizes can be had for less than $150, which for a steel G-Shock is just ridiculous value. Now, if you're wanting an everyday watch that looks more expensive than it actually costs, then I highly suggest you checking out the old school Seiko 5 range. Again, like the cocktail time earlier, the whole old school Seiko 5 range has looks way beyond the modest price tag. None represent this better than the SNKL23. This watch went viral back in the beginning of 2017. Hodinkee wrote an article on this watch, labeling it the $75 watch that looks $1,000,000, boasting about its stunning level of detail that had no right being on such an affordable watch. Now this watch is unfortunately no longer $75, as it was sadly discontinued a couple of years ago, but the watch can still be had for under $150, which is still a good deal for the quality of watch that you get. Yes, it does only feature the Dinosaur 7S26 movement and a basic hardlex crystal, but the level of detail on this watch more than makes up for its flaws. A colour matched frame date window, a vertically striped outer dial, and stunning Dauphine hands give the SNKL23 an expensive look for a bargain price. Now, if you want something that's under the radar but still super affordable, then this next pick will definitely be for you. We'll be visiting Chinese brand Merkur for this next watch. Now, this watch reminds me of various super expensive Japanese micro brand watches that usually sell for thousands of dollars. This is the Merkur Salmon Cross, a watch that is very much styled around mid-20th century Chinese style watches. Now, the reason this watch sticks out for me is the price point, with it coming in under $100, but it has such a premium aesthetic which looks like it costs 5 times the price. Inside, we also see the use of a manual wind movement, which is rather impressive for a sub $100 watch. This piece comes in a variety of dial colours, but my pick for sure would be the salmon pink, which just gives off an elegant and expensive look, and with its 38mm case, it has the proportions to be packed with detail on a smaller scale. This watch looks even better for me on the Beads of Rice style bracelet, but it also looks great on a variety of straps too. I'll leave an affiliate link for this one down in the description. Now, this next watch is the only chronograph featured on today's video, but for me it is the most expensive looking affordable chronograph. One thing that I think Baltic do so effortlessly is create watches that look like they cost way more. Everything from the MR01 with its micro rotor movement to the Aquascaf Diver, but the watch we'll be featuring today is the Baltic Bicompax chronograph. This ticker is just an absolute beauty and rivals the likes of the Hamilton Intramatic for its attention to detail. Just a few days ago, Baltic announced some new variants of the Bicompax, which now features applied indices, elevating the detail of the watch even more and making it look that little bit better. For me, the blue and gilt version takes the cake. I always think gilt hands and indices make a watch look like it costs way more. And of course, inside the Bicompax we see the use of the mechanical ST19 chronograph movement. So if you want a mechanical chronograph that's affordable and punches way above its weight, the Baltic Bicompax is one to check out. Next up, we have the only genuine dive watch on today's list, and if you want an affordable dive watch that still looks super expensive, this is the one to go for. For me, there's only one dive watch that stands out in this category, that being the Orient Kamasu. This watch has way more detail than any sub $500 watch has any right being. Everything from the beautiful dial finishes to the perfectly framed day-date window, it's all done to perfection. With the Kamasu, you get a ton of choice when it comes to dial designs and colours. Everything from the Gen 1 Sunburst series to the Gen 2 Fume models. They all have a ton of detail that have such a premium look. The best thing about the Kamasu is that the looks won't just be temporary, because it comes with a sapphire crystal and a tough as they come build quality. Even after a heavy year of use, my Kamasu still looks incredible, and considering that these watches are still around $200, I personally don't think that there's a bigger bargain in the collecting world than this watch. Okay, here we are, the final watch on today's video. Now, this is the most expensive watch that we featured today, but it without question looks super expensive. If you want that premium integrated bracelet look but don't have a spare $20 20 grand laying around, then you should seriously consider a main Manhattan. This watch is actually a homage to a vintage, rare Vacheron model, but uses its very own dial design to stand out from the crowd. The Côtes de Genève finish to the dial is simply sensational, giving the dial such depth that usually isn't found on a watch under $1,000. The finishing of the case, the angles of the bracelet, everything on this watch is flawlessly thought out and executed so well. And being Swiss made, you also get a reliable Swiss automatic movement that will be ticking away for years to come. For that ultimate premium look, I'd recommend going with a no-date version, and with 4 striking dials to choose from, which are all fantastic options by the way. You'll have so much fun rocking around one of the best looking affordable integrated bracelet sports watches. And remember to check out toptierticker.com for some cool affordable pre-owned watches. The link is in the description. But if you liked this video and want some more Top Tier Ticker, be sure to watch my video here on 10 affordable watches that rival luxury icons.